for me.
They say they wanna see black.
TREADdEEP.
Mr. Cedric Roberts, how you doing, sir?
Not too bad. So,
I'm doing well, man. We got things going on. Happy to have you here treading deep with us today.
that's it.
Yeah, well, look, we're not going to waste a moment of your precious time. We're going to get right into it. You, sir, are a true OG in the world of fleet management, currently serving as the Director of Equipment Management for the City of Birmingham, Alabama. How long have you been at it, Cedric?
I've been in fleet in this position here either as a deputy director or director for the last 20 plus years.
Why are you putting a plus on it, man? What?
It's because I was recruited here. This is something that I never intended to get into.
Okay. Tell us about it. Yeah, how'd you get that start?
My background is actually in IT. So I was actually in the IT department, and this was one of my sites. They had been trying to get their software, basically pre-AssetWorks program. It was actually DOS Space at the time. This is before, I think Jim Hammond, that group was still there, but this is everything that people know now. We were trying to get it converted over to SQL. Well, they were trying to get it converted over to SQL. They had been trying for like 2 or 3 years. The problem is that it was a 2 or 3 day process. In order to do that, they would have to go offline for that period of time. Mm-hmm. Several attempts. So they're working offline, failed attempt. Then now you got to catch back up. All this paperwork got to be keyed back in. Few transactions had to be keyed in manually. So it was a pain in the butt. They had tried this 3 or 4 times. So what I did was, when I came over, I looked in and said, "Oh, we got Thanksgiving holiday coming up. That means we're off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday." So basically, I set up a server at the house, and I did it at home. Because the main problem was that it would stop. But the thing is, if you started up on Friday and it stopped an hour into it, you come back on Monday, it's only ran for 1 hour. So yeah, I set it up upstairs. Every now and then I'll check it. My daughters are checking it. That is still running. It's still there. If it stops, I'll go up there and restart it. I came back, Monday when we came back to work. Okay, we got the data, we ready to load it in. Let's rock and roll. It was like, from that point forward, I was like, for lack of a better term, I was like development time.
Wow.
They quickly made me an offer. Basically, I was in a grade 23, so they offered me a grade 25 with the city bid. Basically, they wanted to encourage me to come over.
Good. Those good incentives.
Yeah. So I came over as at the data analyst at the time. So all the analyticals, KPIs, that was my job. Monthly end reporting, equipment costing, things of that nature. I did that for the first two, maybe 3 years here. And then the deputy director at the time, he just up and told me, "Hey, we got Joel here permanently now. I'm retiring. You in this job here." He retired. 6 months later, all of a sudden, I think Bernard Kincaid was the mayor at that point. All of a sudden, I get a letter from Dr. Kincaid saying, "Hey, he wanted to appoint you to deputy director." That was almost that was 20 plus years ago.
Okay. We'll honor your plus, sir. I did not know that about you. I've heard you say before you got a background in IT, but I did not know that story. That is cool. So you really represent, although it's been 20 plus years, you really represent that kind of the new leader the new decision maker in fleet, right? Because there's this classic traditional understanding of somebody who was a wrench turner, as we say, but that was not your path. You came in with technology as the start.
I would generally sit in a meeting and they will be talking about mechanical stuff. I'm going to be the quietest guy in the room. That's going to be the only time you're going to catch me in that, because see, I don't mind. I go home and I study 6-7 hours. That's not a problem for me. But the next meeting, I'm going to be a willing participant.
Yeah. Okay. Man. So what people don't understand, I don't think, is how technologically advanced fleet management is. You're referencing KPIs, you're referencing, data analytics. This is stuff that, again, I think too many people, want to relegate fleet to it's only about, these vehicles and oil changes and repairs, but there's a whole lot more to consider. And what you're telling us is, for a long time, you've been a troubleshooter and a problem solver. And I dare say somebody who's creative. Setting the servers up at the house and putting the babies to work, that's cool, but you're committing to get it done. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because I have some questions about how you get things done a little later, but that's really cool, Cedric. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have that very same conversation with, especially with members of police department and public works. A lot of them, they do work on the side at home, so they fancy themselves a technician or mechanic. And I don't like the way y'all do this. And then when I explain to them why to do it, and I never thought about it that way. I'm not talking about one car. I got 2,300 vehicles. I can't do, the one car thing. It's just too much. There were too many acceptors. I can't remember. We're gonna have these policies and procedures, and we're going to do the same thing over and over. Then we're going to rinse and repeat. Then we're going to do the same thing over again.
Yeah. Those mighty SOPs. Yes. Cedric, you're what I would call the genuine article. A tried and true gentleman who has lived, raised a family, and served in the same city for many years. For those who desire any kind of longevity, how does rootedness play a part in going the distance? A lot of people move here and there. I'm one of those people. I was chasing the right kind of salary, other factors, life happens, et cetera, et cetera. But something I learned a long time ago is just watching people whose families have been in the same city and I'm not talking about complacency, no, but who've really been able to build because of that rootedness. But how does rootedness play a part in going the distance from your perspective?
Okay, well, people want to know who you care. Okay, basically, as far as your livelihood, I've always looked at it that if you do the job, somebody will notice you, and the money will come. So don't worry about the money. We have a labor position here that I always talk to these guys when they get promoted. I say, if you're not careful, the spending habits will pick up rich. And so I explained it to them at the level, buying a pair of jeans. Okay, you're already making any money, so you go buy a pair of Russell jeans, Walmart. Okay, you get a raise. And what you do is you go buy, now you still buying the Walmart, but now you're buying the Rose. Well, I'm going to fight for Christ. But sometimes instead of one pair, you buy two. But you spent that extra money. You still in the same.
Yeah.
You're still in the same boat. But as far as staying in the same city, you can want to know if you care. Mayor, like my previous mayor here, he had a statement that he used to say. He said, look, he called everybody boys. Boy, I'm going to tell you something. You do your job, folks will leave you alone. See, most people don't know that my position here is appointed. The mayor can come in and say, Cedric, I don't like the color thoughts you wearing. Thank you for a very good job. Goodbye. I've worked for 6 different mayors, and each mayor personally picked me to run their fleet. They could have had anybody come in. But I was selected to run their fleet. That's because, hey, you do your job,
Everybody on this podcast seems to be clairvoyant and able to read my mind. I was going to ask you how many mayors you've seen come and go, but for some kind of way. So you've had 6 mayors.
We even had some that was like mayor for a short stint of time. I'm not counting those because if you followed the Larry Langford thing, he got in trouble. So we had the president and city council take over. I'm not counting. Okay. I'm talking elected mayors.
Yeah, those who did a full term or more. Okay.
Or half time.
Okay. How many police chiefs have come and gone during your tenure with Birmingham?
4.
Okay. So little longer. Is that based on term? Is that based on police chiefs are elected.
Yeah, well, they're appointed. They're appointed to that position.
Okay.
I think A.C. Roper was here for. Actually, he's still around. He's actually General A.C. Roper now. But he was for probably in 2.5 times. Chief Furman, who recently left, he's at the University of Alabama now. He's a deputy police chief at the University of Alabama now. And currently we have Chief Michael Pick.
Okay.
I've worked with him for a number of years, so he's Birmingham through the ranks. Okay.
So there, I'm paying attention. You're naming these other folks who, they didn't stop and go on somewhere. They're keeping those roots in Birmingham. That's cool, man. And we'll talk a little more about the city here in a little bit. But speaking of police chiefs and public safety, Birmingham is, I think I call it a bookmark for some of America's most difficult racial history, housing a variety of horrors during the civil rights era, much of which is well documented from articles to pictures and more. We're obviously several decades removed, and Birmingham has experienced a lot of growth across, the educational spectrum, business, politics, and more. But even with that growth, I imagine there are still stains from the past that are difficult to wash away. For those who don't know, you now hold the responsibility for the city that was once occupied by Theophilus Eugene, aka Bull Connor. What does that mean to you, Cedric?
It actually draws 2 feelings. Well, for one, you've been to my building. You know where I parked at. You're right. I parked right there in front of the cornerstone of the building where that individual name appears at. So I see it every day. That's the commissioner that actually ordered the water hydrants and the dogs during that time. I look at where I'm at is that we've come a long way. So I'm actually the first Black peak manager for the City of Birmingham. This is a organization that used to employ a guy infamously named Dynamite Bob.
Tell us about Dynamite.
He's the one that's was found guilty of blowing up a certain church. He actually used to work in my fire shop. which is probably 150, 200 feet from where I'm sitting right now. This place has it's distorted history. Not 300 feet from here is the jail cell that held Dr. Martin Luther King.
Wow, man. Whoo, I'm over here getting chills. That's. I'm from Tennessee, so I'm from right up the road, man, and I've lived all over the country, at this point, but Alabama was. I went to college with a bunch of people from Alabama. I know it's just, football is a whole thing. I don't know how. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Alabama. Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery. Got some family members out in the sticks outside of Auburn. I've been paying attention to Birmingham is what I'm getting at. And, I'm thinking of these stains on the history. Nobody wants that on their city's history. And I know it's a lot to push through, but, for Black people in particular who, are currently in Birmingham, right? Maybe young people who are even considering that region, as a place of matriculation for their college journey, or somebody looking for, career opportunities. I mean, again, we're several decades removed, the monuments, the cornerstones, a lot of that will probably be there for a long time. But what would you say to those people who are considering Birmingham, or maybe they're not and should, as a place to really create some roots for themselves and grow themselves and their families?
Well, I always look at the then and now. You've seen the then. The now is Birmingham is a good place to we have University of Alabama here. They're the largest employer in the state. If you're involved in insurance, biomedical, engineering, this is the place to be. Having tech centers built, it's up and coming region. We're actually looking for tech-minded people, young professionals.
Okay, so the old assumptions of the South are truly changing.
Yes, you also got to remember now, it's a city area, but it's not traditionally a huge city area. Alabama doesn't really have any big cities. You got Huntsville and Birmingham, probably the two biggest cities here, and neither one of us have 400,000 people.
Wow. So from a metro stat standpoint, right? So Birmingham and its surrounding, communities, you're saying that's less than 400? Or you talking city limits?
You start talking about the Birmingham metropolitan area, we're probably a little bit over 1 million. But the city itself, there's going to be 250 to 300,000 people.
Right.
To one of it. So there aren't any huge cities here. We're more or less huge towns.
I remember hearing the phrase "a big small town." Yeah, man. No, I'm leery of even discussing this because I want people to be able to maintain the sanctity of their city. Because, man, I mean, there's such a rush to places like Birmingham, Greenville, South Carolina, Chattanooga. These kind of what used to be small to mid-sized towns that, interestingly, maybe the population isn't going sky high so crazy just yet, but they are becoming tech centers or entrepreneurial hubs or I mean, major corporations, global corporations are setting up shop in these areas, and it's shifting a lot of things. Even the politics, right? The cultural diversity, because people are coming from, they're relocating from all over the country, or maybe even other parts of the world. So I'm glad to see and hear from you where Birmingham is going.
The medical field is really taking on. A lot of the pro athletes we know, ones with the knee surgery, shoulder surgery, they're actually coming here for surgery.
Oh wow!
So they either come to St. Vincent or University of Alabama, Birmingham to have their surgery.
Oh snap! Okay, so y'all smuggling people in, smuggling ballers in to get them fixed up. Okay, man, I did not. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Shouts to UAB. Let's flip it a little bit, Cedric.
Okay.
You took me to a lovely fried chicken joint. And I know you did it because I'm Black. I know that's why you did it.
Seriously, it actually was the level of customer service there.
Yeah, no, man, excellent. Yeah, and the food was good.
It was actually the level of customer service.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we having a nice, chill lunch. I think afterward we were planning to go actually, visit your operation. But you said something that will always stick with me. But I want you to share this with the world, because I think it's very important to, you said a little while ago, it's nothing to you to put in the time, the effort to study, to improve, to work toward proficiency of understanding. And that's very clear with the letters behind your name. If somebody's looking you up online, and even just understanding more and more about your professional journey. But you put us up on this 48-hour rule when it comes to communication in the city of Birmingham. Please school us on that 48-hour rule.
Well, basically, if you have phone call, email, we are required to basically either reply or call within the 48-hour period of time. I mean, usually if you're not doing that, it's just going to make the situation worse. It's not going away. If you call about a problem, you want to hear something. Even if it's okay, I'm going to get back with you, or we got this on order. But if you don't hear anything, it's like, hell, you didn't care about it. So we have a 48-hour rule that we have to reply within that period of time.
Okay. What are there ramifications within the leadership ranks if that doesn't happen? Obviously, there are potential ramifications for a situation not being addressed. But yeah, does that get somebody in trouble?
It's like with anything else. My grandmother used to always tell me, warning comes before destruction. So, you may get a warnings, but eventually something else is coming. If your name is constantly on that report that he's not doing what they should be doing, nothing's coming. You're not going to like it.
Communication.
Very important. Even the answer is, I'm going to push you off. I don't have an answer for you. I've communicated with you.
Right.
If I told you I'm going to call you back on Wednesday, call the person back on Wednesday. Even if you still don't have an answer, I know I told you I'm going to call you on Wednesday. I still don't have any additional answers for you.
Yeah.
I'm ready to call to the mayor's office, or in case any of my staff understood that you didn't call, then instead you were.
Stakes are high.
Yeah, for this department, I'm the chief accountability officer. I'm the chief morale officer. If morale is low, mayor's office is going to look at me. Why is morale low?
We can just wrap it up right here.
if you're the chief officer, if you've done all you can, say for instance, if it's about pay, if morale is low about pay, then I should have gone to the mayor's office to complain about my guy's pay. It's just that simple. I need to have exhausted everything I've done to try to rectify that situation. If I've done everything I can do, that's all I can do.
Yeah. You got me thinking about confrontation and how I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody about this, but too many people still think confrontation is always negative, right? Where the fact is, it's just it's a matter of I'm willing to communicate with you, right? It may be delivering tough news. It may be just as you said, I may be coming with complaints. Or shoot, it might be that historically we don't get along, but I actually want to give you props for something good you did. So let me get over myself and go ahead and give you that pat on the back. But without it, right? If we're not confronting, then we're not communicating. And chief morale officer.
Yeah, we're every year we're required to read like 2 books. So one of them was the 5 dysfunctions of a tape. And the biggest one was trust. If the department head I'm talking to doesn't trust her, it doesn't matter what I'm telling them. It's just words. It's vaporware. They hear to see it, and it just goes away. You trust anything he says. So trust has to be there.
Yeah.
And you get that trust through open communication. Sometimes that communication is conflict. Let's have a healthy discussion. We both adults. We may be having a normal conversation, and we may be actually going at it, but it's just a normal conversation. You give you give your point of view, I give mine. Let's come to a mutual consensus, and we can move on down the street.
You just dropped something that you said you all are required to read a few books a year. Where's that coming from? Who requires that?
Well, sometimes it's the mayor, sometimes it's chief of staff, sometimes we have a position called the chief strategist. That's basically a person who works with the mayor and decides on the strategy that the city is going there. Also chief of operations sometimes would have instructions on the favorite book.
That is cool. Wow. And is that just for the department heads, or does that go further down?
Department heads and deputies.
Okay.
The deputies, because we always look at a deputy as next up.
Right. Right.
I mean, God forbid, I can walk out of here, and that'll be the last day I come here. So deputy got to be ready to step up.
Yeah.
You don't need to be getting ready. You need to already be ready.
Oh, you mean a little something called succession planning?
Oh, yeah. Something weird happening when I was a deputy. The former director, he didn't do anything his last year. He didn't wear red shoes to work. He would come in the morning, sit in his office, said, "How you doing?" And that would be all. I want to see about this. Then nobody know the understanding that me about, hey, this thing was only way you're gonna know how to run this department is to actually run the department. Right. If you have a problem, knock on the door, come on in, let's talk about it. If it goes off the rails, tell them I did it. Wow. So we left, everybody wondered, well, y'all didn't skip a beat. Well, I had been running the department a year before he left.
Yeah. Cedric, you're dropping a lot of gems, man, a lot of jewels that I hope a lot of people check out this conversation, because there's so much discussion around leadership. At the same time, I don't think there's enough discussion around leadership. And what I'm hearing from you, as well as it sounds like just how the city of Birmingham works from a leadership standpoint is incredibly encouraging, man. I'm kind of tripping. Everything from we've all heard about there being a requirement or a suggested, encouragement to read books and kind of better oneself and that kind of thing. But for that to be baked in to what you all do as a city, for that assumption, which is a rightful assumption that the deputy is next up, but that, you have people who take that seriously. And we know there's politics, and we know, but I'm paying attention to your journey and just what you're even mentioning about the journey of Birmingham over the last while. That's really impressive, and it sounds like the world could learn some things from little Birmingham, Alabama. So thank you for sharing that. You're a quiet man, Cedric.
Very quiet. But
I mean,
talk from time to time. If I'm talking, that means I like.
Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna take that as a wonderful signal today, because this, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening, will be the most that Cedric Roberts talks at one time.
Wait, it used to get so quiet. I would be sitting in the department head meeting. If I said something, everybody would turn around like if I would be a button, like, really have to say that.
You got nervous.
Yeah, Cedric has to say that.
You know what? I might nickname you Pin Drop, Cedric. I'm a pin drop, because when he say something, everybody listen. Yeah, man. Old Pin Drop Roberts. I'm gonna cool it. I'm sorry, sir. I'm being disrespectful. No, but you're a brilliant man, Cedric, and you're so unassuming. And I bring this up to not mess with you at all, but because we live in a world, and I think it's always been this way. People think you got to be loud to be noticed. They think you got to be loud to be progressive. They think you got to be loud to win, but that's not the case. And there may be times for that, but that's just not the case. But what is impressive about you, among other things, is you get things done. I'm gonna ask you a few questions, just kind of on the quick, about some of the things that you've gotten done over the years. You told us earlier, but remind us, how many pieces of equipment do you manage?
We have 2,200 pieces of rolling stock. We also have an additional 900 items, such as zero-turn mowers, trailers, backcountry blowers, weed kits.
Okay. And yeah, what all departments do you manage and maintain the vehicles for? Are you doing an EMS, fire? Yeah, what?
City of Birmingham has 23 departments. We also help out 2 outside agencies. We also do work outside of fleets, such as any welding jobs that they need precision welding done. We will also take on that. We have a crossplex that has a hydraulic floor that takes a flat floor and turns it into a bowl. So we also work on the full hydraulics for that. It's only like 2 or 3 of them in the country.
Wow. Okay. So if I'm counting right, you got about 3,200 pieces of equipment in total that you manage, in addition to a lot of other support that you offer, that your team offers. How many pieces of equipment did you start with?
When I got here, we had like 20 years ago, maybe 15 to 17 houses.
Okay.
We also only had, we've always had 2 landfills, but now I have 2 landfills, but in 3 sales.
Okay. So you've literally doubled the number of pieces of equipment that you manage, and I'm sure a lot more responsibility you've taken on too in that 20 plus.
We have full garbage, bin brush. We have landfill. We have a police and fire. Then there's outside agencies. It's quite good.
Okay. Wow. How long has your most tenured employee been with you?
That would be, right now would be my deputy director, Cedric Roberts. He's been here 33 years.
Okay.
Interesting enough, he's actually started here as a general laborer. This is an unskilled laborer, cutting grass, cleaning up, learning how to change oil, change brakes. And yeah, he's actually matriculated to every position within City. We saw from a laborer to an assistant technician to a technician to a supervisor, superintendent, and then I promoted him to deputy director.
People pay attention to Birmingham. That's all I'm gonna say. You've also brought the city forward through electrification and other sustainability practices. Give us the high points of that journey.
Well, about 5 years ago, we entered into an agreement with Alabama Power, that's a local power company, along with the Alabama Criminal Bill Coalition. Alabama, we decided we were going to add electric vehicles. We had no sustainability goals. It's just something that Fleet really wanted to do. We were actually looking at destroying the technicians because EVs had a shorter period of time in the shop. So we were trying to satisfy some of that. So our thing was we looked at charging infrastructure. So we purchased some level 2 chargers, and Alabama Power helped us with that level 3. They provided project management. They did all the wiring up to transformers. They served as project management on the project. On top of that, they gave us, they bought our data for 3 years. That contractual obligation is now over, but they paid us $50,000 up front. Okay. I could still log into our portal. I could see every Alabama Power charger in the state. So now and that's out, but they gave us access to it.
Wow. So a positive collaboration story with the utility. Yes. Yes.
Very positive. In fact, we are getting ready to embark on another one coming up pretty soon.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our ears to the ground for that. And I'm checking out how you mentioned you all's hands weren't forced. It wasn't per mandate that you all chose to go down the sustainability path. Well, and I'm gonna say the increased sustainability path. I'm sure you all had some things in place. I'm sure the city was working on some things, but prior to that. But yeah, what was the motivation? What caused the city of Birmingham to say, hey, we're gonna move in this direction when it came to sustainability?
We'd always been working on sustainability. I mean, if certain things had not happened, I would say 20 years ago, Birmingham would probably have one of the greenest suites in the country. Yeah, we were looking at green vehicles when it looked cool. Look at green vehicles. We've had flex fuel vehicles back in the 80s. We had propane powered vehicles back in the 80s. What happened was that they didn't have a proper training for running for it, and they had a flash fire, and the next day all that went away. It was gone.
Wow.
From somebody, you go to the gas station out, you see somebody getting out of the fuel and they smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what happened. Only thing happened there, he made it through the cigarette on the ground, and one little sparker, he got a crash fire. So that was the end of that.
Oh, this is good stuff, Cedric. You reference your deputy director starting as a general laborer. I know you've established a career path for young people interested in fleet and in the work that you all do. How critical is it to attract and train new talent for the careers that exist within fleet management or public works or other adjacent fields? How important is that, Cedric? Please tell us, please.
It's extremely important, especially in this area here. Our biggest problem is we have the automobile industry here, and it sounds good. It's great for those individuals that work there, but those who need technicians on the floor is pretty bad. And it has a way of causing problems for years to come, because what they do is the guys are, the people that are in school, I'm sorry I said guys, so be guys, the people who are in school, they're coming and getting the cream of the crop. Those individuals eventually end up getting dumbed down because they're no longer interested in the new concepts that are coming out. What they're concerned with is the 3 connectors and 3 bolts that they have to connect on the floor. That's all they're concerned with.
And you're talking that the almost the entry level, assembly level, right?
They're getting the people that's at school,
right? Who are on the academic path essentially.
So they get the cream of the crop. Okay, then after that, you got the dealerships and that nature. You know, they're offering $70,000, $80,000 out the door. Or okay, I give you this $80,000 seat set. Just come work for us. I can't offer you that.
Right.
With government, your payoff is at the end. You're gonna make enough money to make it. But we're gonna take care of you. You got 75% of that salary for the rest of your life after you retire. I don't care how much you save on 401k. You're not gonna save that much.
Right. No, and the market ain't gonna let you do it either. Yeah.
But that idea, and then if you have a spouse and you precede them in life, precedes them in death, they get a percentage of that until they pass on. So you can't beat that with a stick.
Nah, man. Okay, young people, you heard it. And frankly, anybody, right? You don't have to necessarily be a young person, but I'm so sold on the fleet management. I didn't know nothing about fleet management industry until almost 10 years ago, man. And I was a super grown man with multiple children, and I had various careers, got all my degrees, blah, blah, blah. But you know which one paid me the most? This one. This industry right here. And I mean, and there's just constant upside, right? So no, I want everybody to understand it isn't, yes, there's the turning of wrenches that is still needed, which is that's not less than work. Lord knows we need good and more technicians out here. But man, if you're a coding geek, a IT specialist, you love data, you working on an MBA, you love business, and there are all kind of places for you in fleet, private and public sector. And
to understand when we say sustainability, you're not talking about saving energy. You still call that part. You got to grow that third leg in there. It got to be the people part of it. But you got to.
Yes. This why you my guy, Cedric. Yes. Yeah. Because what's the world with a bunch of equipment sitting around and no people to tend to it?
It just don't sit there. That's all.
Man, yes. No, that's beautiful to hear that you all, I don't even know it's lowering the barriers. It just sounds like y'all just got rid of the barriers. And I know you all's, wonderful mayor, is also very passionate about, getting young people and young Black and brown people, gainfully employed, gainfully involved, right? That's I have never understood why people want to. We got to get it together in this country to understand that the people are the greatest resource. So if you want to hold somebody down because of their racial identity or their cultural background or their religious preference or their gender or where they come from, you are, and you can sit there in your ignorance and say, oh, well, who they are, what they do ain't got nothing to do with me. Man, somebody didn't teach you well. It has everything to do with you. No, it may not directly affect you in that moment, but think about when we don't pour into good teachers. Then where you sending your kid's school at? Right?
My thing has always been, if I'm holding you down, guess what? I'm down there with you. I'm not programmed to look.
That's simple. That's simple.
Not the most. Like,
man.
don't teach my face a zip lesson.
Nah, man, we got to get it together, Cedric, and you and your team are clearly setting a great example. And props to your team, man. It was a pleasure to meet them. Man, it's been almost 2 years ago that I visited. It's time to visit again. Cedric, you are a true historical figure. You're one of these who, even though you got a couple of gray hairs, you're the first, in a variety of ways, which I always think is just a phenomenal thing for our community, that there are so many of us who are the first. But you truly are a true historical figure, and you've carved out a path of credibility and leadership and growth in the municipal context, and you've also established history within BFN, as you are our very first public sector member. You secured your membership in a very fun moment as we were hosting a reception, and you're incredibly active with the network. You serve on our peer advisory committee, and you contribute to the network in many ways. You're a true light, Mr. Roberts, and I'm blessed and privileged to know you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for treading deep with us, Cedric.
Tread deep.